Hey everybody, this is James with WSTrades.com. I want to provide an update here on a few different stocks and also a news story here. So I saw this was trending in YouTube. A lot of people were looking this up, and the headline here is Publix readies 5-for-1 stock split. Employee-owned grocer to raise total common shares to $4 billion. This month, Publix Supermarkets plans to enact a 5-for-1 stock split that will boost its number of authorized common shares from 1 billion to 4 billion. Publix said Friday that its board of directors approved the stock split to be effective at the close of business on April 14th. For each share owned, stockholders will receive additional 4 shares. The 5-for-1 split, Publix stock will begin trading at the adjusted price of $13.76 per share. So I thought this was an important update here on Publix. However, when I saw this update, I was like, okay, cool, let's go check out the chart. And this is a privately owned. So of course I couldn't find a ticker on it. And then I was like, oh, this is privately owned thing here. So I can't even go out and try to trade this thing. But kind of surprising to see that as a trending term on YouTube, I guess, more of a news thing, but not really something for the markets, or, you know, retail traders are not going to be able to go in and trade this stock. But I did want to cover a couple other stocks here that you can go out and trade. And one of them here is ticker GREE, or Greenidge Generation Holdings. And this is a crazy move. I was looking at the larger time frame charts and there was just nothing really to see on it. So I had to come into the 15-minute, and the move was just so violent. Like, it ripped so hard that I was looking at it. I'm like, I don't even have anything that looks like a trend line or anything here. I'm just going to have to go Fibonacci levels to try to see where this thing might go to. So that's what I've got up here on the 15-minute time frame. And you can see it's not even quite to a 38.2% retracement yet, but I would definitely keep an eye on these Fibonacci retracement levels, because this was a ridiculous move. I mean, you can see at close at 11:52, that's about a 34% rip on the day. So after a hard move like that, you know, I would definitely expect this thing to retrace to at least the 50% level here, maybe even 61.8. Kind of keep an eye on those levels and see, you know, the buyer's going to step in at that point, because of course after this hard rip to 1268, it's just kind of been slowly ticking down and bleeding out here. So definitely keep an eye on these levels here, and let's see if, you know, maybe buyers are going to step back into this thing and this thing is going to try to blast off again. And then one other ticker I was looking at was BLBX, or Blackbox Stocks Inc. And this one made a pretty good rip too. I think I was looking at the larger time frames and there was nothing really to see. So I came into the 1 hour time frame here, and I was able to identify a trend line here from this was a, you know, trading below $2. Let's see, around $1.68, $1.70, somewhere in there, and it made it all the way up to $4.83. So this, you know, was more than a 100% move here. So all the way from around 168 up to 483, and starting to sell off and really bleed out here. But it is coming down towards this trend line, and, you know, you can see a pretty good rip here, and then a little bit of a retracement to this trend line, and then a hard rip higher, and then really starting to sell off and give back those gains. So I definitely keep an eye here. You know, if this thing touches this trend line, buyers step back in, it starts to pump, you know, that could be a good long entry there. And I would imagine if the buyers step back into this thing and start to rip it away from this trend line, that it's probably going to come up to around at least $4 or so and test in this area. You can see a fat wick sticking out here. So it rejected around this 405 level really hard. So I'd kind of look at those levels right there. I would look at this trend line, and then if, you know, this thing falls through this trend line and closes below it on the hourly time frame, I would see that as a good short entry, because it's probably coming all the way down here to about 250. You can see a lot of candles were ramming up against this 250 level before it exploded. So, you know, to the downside, I definitely think that 250 level is key. To the upside, this trend line here, and also around the $4.05 level. I also wanted to talk about a new trade that I got into here. Let me go to my monitor tab. Yeah, that's right, it was the 77 call. So let me get to a better time frame for this stock. So this is EFA. I believe this is like Europe, Australia, the Far East, or something like that. It's a combination of markets, and I kind of saw, maybe I went to the weekly. Let's check out the weekly. yeah, I was kind of looking at it here and I threw up a trend line and just saw that this thing rammed up against like 82 3 times, and then it ran down to this level around 76 again, and it just could not hold it. I mean, a lot of stuff had really hard dumps lately with just everything that's going on in the world, especially the whole Russia-Ukraine situation. But, you know, it fell through this level, bled pretty hard down to about, you can see about 66.50 here on the weekly time frame. Then it had a big rip and a hard rally up, as the markets did kind of in general. But you can see on this weekly time frame, it rejected this 21-day EMA, and it rejected this downtrend line. So you can see that wick sticking out there. I mean, this is a nice hard fat move, but it rejected both of these levels right here. So I'm kind of thinking this thing is going to start to bleed out again and may go down here to retest the lows. So I'm going to keep an eye on it and just see kind of how it reacts. If it actually busts through this trend line and closes above this trend line on this weekly time frame, I will probably switch it up. Maybe close my position and go long. But my expectation here is that it continues to respect this trend line and it starts to sell off from here. But I'll continue to keep you guys updated on how this position works out for me. And that 77 call is what I sold, and that was for the May monthly contract. So, you know, I've got a good, where did it close? 74.29. So yeah, I've got almost a good $3 there. It can move to the upside before it goes in the money. So I've got pretty good range on the top end there. That was a high probability short call I put on. But I'll continue to keep you guys updated and let you know how this trade works out. Please like this video. Please also subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this. Talk to you soon.